Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the SimZone. We're here once again for Season 9 now, for the Next Level Racing GT3 Championship. Now, last season, it was Luke Whitehead who took the championship win and took the prize of the Next Level Racing FGT Lite. But this time out, he's not racing in this championship. He'll be racing in our Friday's championship. So we've got quite a few new drivers here on the grid. I believe we have a total 37 out of 40 cars racing tonight. And what a track to do it at. We are at Spa, if you haven't guessed already. Now, none of the drivers have put any lap times in just yet. But I'm sure on an optimum track, we could be looking to see around the 2:16 range being the fastest here at Spa. Definitely, we've seen in qualifying in practice the drivers doing 2:17s on a fast track. So 2:16 is definitely possible. I think the fastest I've ever seen so far on 1.9 has been a 2:16.2 or a 2:16.1. So we're very close to the 2:15 mark, which we are able to see on 1.8. But I don't think I've seen any 2:15s just yet. Maybe we will see them today. Who knows? The track condition is absolutely perfect as well for good lap times. We've got 21 degrees ambient and 28 degrees track temp, so brilliant temperatures here at Spa. Now we've got quite a few comments coming in as well. We've got Jan, who I believe is currently out on track at the moment. We've got Kenny, good to see you, Kenny. We've got Melvin as well. We've got Cascanova, good to see you, Cass. Penny, Lord Perth, sorry, looks like Melvin is rooting for Tolben and Besselink and Van Hoorn. So he's rooting for the Dutch drivers. Here we go, we've got first lap time in Sidor, who is returning with us for this championship. Did put in a 2:17, I believe that was 2:17.6. Actually, I can check. What am I thinking? Too used to console now, where we can't actually see the exact lap times. But yeah, he did a 2:17.645, but looks like Thomas did improve. Thomas went on provisional pole, but then Langford has now done a 2:17.3 here. So he's put it on the top, and I believe the only Lamborghini in this championship. I don't think there are many Lamborghinis. We've got loads of Ferraris, lots of Porsches, few AMGs, and quite a few Aston Martins as well. But the Lamborghini currently looking to be strong. Langford from the Wild Things Racing team here in that lovely livery. Let's go on board if we can for the rest of this lap here, just to see how Langford takes this lap here at Spa. And he's still on provisional pole. Looks like no one has taken that off of him. You can see he's fighting the steering wheel here. It doesn't seem like even though it is optimum, he's on the edge. He's on the limit here, fighting the grip. He's got understeer and oversteer going through the corner. That's exactly how you know you're on the limit of the car, on the limit of the available grip there is on the circuit. But here into the braking zone, down to third, or down to second there, using the extra engine braking to get the car rotated. We're coming up towards the third sector then. From here down to the bus stop chicane, it is flat out, using the inside curve there a bit more to get the car rotated. But it is flat out. This is where the drivers will be focusing on their line, keeping as smooth as possible and getting their gear shifts, their next gear perfectly right. So it can really cost them by the time they reach this heavy braking zone here up towards the bus stop. Now down to first there. I don't think Langford was on a quick lap that time around. You can see him setting himself up for the next lap. No, he actually invalidated on this lap, but that was a lap there with Langford here at Spa. It looks like Sidor's gone into P2, but Thomas has put it back on provisional pole at 2:16.9. So the first driver making it into the 2:16s here, Michael Thomas in the AMG. Now the Mercedes has got a bit of TLC for this update. It's much better than it was before. And once again, it is a car that we'll be seeing towards the top throughout this championship, which is lovely to see, because that's actually the first car I started driving on ACC and the first car I started to main on this sim. So definitely I'd love to see it back up the top. So Thomas, you better keep that pole position. I'm not going to be happy now, I'm joking, but yeah, it's good to see it at the top. And looks like the Ferrari's also very dominant. I think they'll definitely be getting a BOP patch shortly. But Pisano goes into P2. Looks like he's got some traffic. A few drivers in the old Ferrari as well, the 488. Who is that in the old Ferrari? I wonder who that is. I'm not quite sure, but Pisano in a bit of traffic here. I think, yeah, he's invalidated. Oh, lost the car there as well. So he's going to have to return to the pits then. Currently P2, and look how close it is at the top. Just 300ths separating P1 and P2 in this qualifying session at the moment, but it's still the AMG on top. Langford now dropped down to P5, but he's 4/10ths up currently as we are going to enter the last sector here. And this could definitely put him back on provisional pole. 3/10ths up. Looks like he's lost a 10th there, but he's definitely up on his time. And he's found another 10th once more. Now it's all down to the braking zone here, coming up towards the bus stop. This is where it can be made or lost. And it's an extremely heavy braking zone, so the later you can brake, the better. The more you can trail the brakes into the corner, the better as well. It's quite off-cambered there on the entry. You can see the rear end of the Lambo stepping out, but he's 5/10ths up as he exits the final corner. And back on provisional pole there for Langford. Only 500ths quicker than Thomas, but 500ths on a track like this and can be quite hard to find. Vining, who are currently watching another driver from the RKM team, who are obviously sponsored by Redion, but he is currently a 10th up, sitting in P8 at the moment. And look at the amount of Ferraris we've got. P3 to P7, all Ferraris, and I'm not surprised, to be honest. So in the top 10, we've got one Lamborghini, the rest are Ferraris, and oh no, I spoke too soon. I was going to say the rest are Ferraris and Mercedes, but Tobin there has just crossed the line and put it into P10. So the first Aston Martin into the top 10. Now the Aston's quite a good car as well. It's been very quick since the update. I mean, it's quick before, but it seems to be even better now. Vining crosses the line with an improvement. That last time round he did a 2:17.670. Now the top 9 all within a second of each other. Let's see who else is up for an improvement. We've got Orenshia. Now I apologise if I've mispronounced any of these names, but we'll get used to them towards the end of the championship, I'm sure. By the time we reach the final round, we'll learn how to pronounce the names. But he's going to cross the line here and puts it up into P10, just ahead of Tobin there. And oh, bit of contact. That's not good to see. Bit of contact there between the two Porsches, stopping on the track, which we actually advise the drivers not to do. So maybe a bit of, we might see some unhappy drivers towards the end, but still 4 minutes left of this qualifying session yet to go. Van Hoorn currently 3/10ths up. He's one of the admins here at the SimZone, and he's got that beautiful Assetto Racing Team livery on that car as well. But he's 3/10ths up, currently sitting P19, 2.5 seconds off though. That provisional pole time set by Langford. So lots of work to be done for Van Hoorn, but he only needs a couple tenths to get P18. In fact, P18 is quote-unquote teammate. They do team up for endurance events. Curtin in P18 actually. He's also 3/10ths up, but he's also from Assetto Racing Teams, an Irish driver is Tom Curtin. But we go back to Van Hoorn, who's about to cross the line now, 5/10ths up as he crosses the line. P17 for Van Hoorn. Barth still on a lap here. Currently 5/10ths up, half a second up for him as well. Curtin is approaching the bus stop chicane, the final few corners here. And he is 7/10ths up now, so this could be a huge improvement for Curtin. Oh, he's lost it on the exit, but it's still an improvement as he crosses the line. P16 for Curtin. There we go. And looks like Besselink in P17 currently not on a lap. I believe this might be an out lap for him. Or he's invalidated. Actually, yeah, I think he's invalidated his last lap. But currently sitting in P17. Looks like Pisano 2/10 up. And, well, if you can keep it together, this could be pole position or provisional pole for Pisano. And that will put the Ferrari back on the top here. But Langford in the pits, doesn't look like he'll be able to get another lap in, so that's his qualifying session come to an end. Pisano a 10th up now. Looks like he's lost some time there through this last sector. Now can he keep it together through this final bus stop chicane? Looks like it's nice and tidy there on the exit as well. 4/10 up for Pisano, and he's going to cross the line. What's it going to be? There we go. Provisional pole, a 2:16.5 from Pisano. What a lap there. And he's going to continue once more. He's not happy with that. Oh, a bit of oversteer on the exit. That's not going to help him. But Thomas, I believe, was a 10th up. Not showing me that he's up anymore. But 4/10 off of that provisional pole time. Let's see if he can find any more time. Demori here, currently P6, 4/10 up as well. So these could put him on the top 2 rows here. We just have to wait and see. But we'll get a look at the drivers further down the field as well towards the end of this qualifying session. But we're going to wait for Demori to cross the line. 3/10 up. And looking tidy. The Ferrari looks quite easy to drive through this final sector. And that final bus stop chicane, it's so planted as we cross the line. P5 for Demori, not quite on the top 2 rows just yet. Let's have a look further down the field now. We've got Fanara in P23, 7/10 up. He's pretty much just started a lap here into sector 2, I believe. Yeah, he's into sector 2 now. Going through Puon at 3 seconds off at the moment. It just got to show. Look how well, I would say how competitive the top drivers are, but the gap from the bottom drivers towards the top is quite big at the moment. We've got a few drivers that haven't been able to set in a lap time there. Red Ken Racing, Cameron Pugh, both haven't been able to. Oh, and Cosmetto haven't been able to sit in a lap time, but it's Pisano still on provisional pole here. Langford obviously sat in the pits for the last couple of minutes of this qualifying session, wasn't able to improve or go out and improve. Thomas is a 10th up, 2/10 up actually. Pisano is a 10th up though as he rounds the final corner. It looks like he's lost it on the exit, so no improvement here from Pisano. Yep, no improvement on that time around. Michael Thomas is a 10th up. He'll be wanting to start on the front row here. 2/10 up now as we come through Puon. Lucas Sidor, though, is 3/10 up. He's going to be extremely close towards the end of this qualifying session. And looking at one of the Ballas Esports drivers, we've got a few of them competing in our Friday's championship as well. Looks like Reali is 4/10 up on this lap. You see those Mercedes really mounting that inside curb coming through Puon. But let's see, Thomas is a 10th up, Demore 2/10 up, Sidor 7/10 up. I do want to see how they perform once they cross the line, but we will have to go to our intermission in just a moment. Who's about to cross the line first? It is going to be Thomas. Now he's 2/10 up, using all that curb on entry. And he's 3/10 up. No, he's lost a bit on the exit. But where's it going to put him? It's going to put him P2 provisionally. But Sidor, what can he do? He's 8/10 up now. This could be pole for Sidor as he exits the final corner. No, looks like he's lost it on the exit as well. He crosses the line and P2 there for Sidor. And that's why I wanted to return to, well, go to our intermission. But let's get rid of that. And there we have it. Pisano P1, Sidor taking P2, starting on the front row. Just towards the end of that qualifying session, Thomas P3. And there's your top 3 for this qualifying session. Now, make sure to stick with us because we'll be back in just a moment for the race. Now, as we saw in that qualifying session, Pisano P1, Sidor taking P2 just at the last moment, and Thomas in P3. Now, we do have a mandatory pit stop in this race. We'll bring all that up in just a moment. First, we're going to get through our grid walk here. So let's take you through the grid walk. So, oops. Actually, let's stop that just a second. That was a bit unexpected. Sorry, bear with me. Just teething problems with new features. We'll get there in just a moment. Okay, there we go. Now we'll start our grid walk. So, as we saw in quali, Pisano on pole. Now, some of the drivers don't have their flags set up just yet. I think it may be a bug with 1.9. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, Pisano on pole. Sidor in P2. There we go. Thomas in P3. But we'll let this run through. Now, I'll explain the mandatory pit stop that we've got in this race, and that the drivers have to serve as well. So there is a pit window, and the drivers have to pit within that pit window, of course. Now, the pit window opens 20 minutes into the race and closes 20 minutes before the end. So that means, that also means they have to refuel. So refueling time is fixed as well. For those of you that don't know what that means, no matter how much fuel they put into the car, it will be a 25-second pit stop. And they also have the option to change tyres as well. So if they change tyres, that's going to add an extra 5 seconds to their pit stop. Now, I don't think many drivers will run the risk of not changing tyres, especially with a long track like Spa. But I think in the more twistier circuits like maybe Zolder, Zandvoort, we will see the drivers maybe not changing tyres to try and save them, well, gain them more positions. Especially if they're stuck behind someone else, they might go for not changing tyres just to gain that position on track, and then they can defend for the remainder of the race. But yeah, there's a lot of strategy involved still in these 1 hour races, and it's up to the drivers now. We'll still run through this grid walk as the drivers are now on their formation lap, and my god, the sound of the Porsche, absolutely amazing. The new 992 Porsche we've got here, and a few drivers from console coming over to PC as well. Packham in P24 and Besselink in P22. Two drivers that have transferred from console, but prior racing with us once again in that beautiful livery. Roger's a new driver here with us as well. There's loads of new drivers actually out on track at the moment. And let's have a read of some of the comments. Oh, we've got loads more people watching as well. Good to see Bones in the comments. Scott Bradley. We've got someone supporting Fanara. We've got Phil Sayers, good to see you. We've got Pete Bibb saying good luck everyone as well. Phil showing a support for Besselink. Yeah, it's a very long lap here at Spa. Let's hope the drivers can keep it clean on the first lap. We've got quite a few drivers on track this evening. But yeah, that's your grid walk done. And Pisano on pole. Now, it's going to be two Ferraris on the front row, so it's not going to be down to the car. It's going to be down to who has the quicker reaction times off the start and who can get ahead going into Eau Rouge and Radion. That's who's going to be able to take the lead of the race, but of course you've got the Kemmel straight, then where the driver behind can use all of the slipstream to then try and get back past at least. Now remember, if you're watching and you're liking what you see, make sure to hit the sub button and drop a like as well. And of course, let us know who you're rooting for in the comments, or a prediction for the top 3 as well. And if you also race on ACC, let us know what your favourite car is. We'd love to know what our viewers drive. Of course, there's quite a few viewers from console, so I may know what you drive, but anyways, do tell us what your favourite car is on ACC. But we should be lining up in double file now, get ready for the start of this race. Now we don't start on the exit of the bus stop chicane. The start line and the finish line are different. So the start line will be on the exit of La Source, which is turn 1, and the finish line will be here on the exit of the bus stop chicane. So it is different, which can be confusing. But these drivers here, I'm sure they've driven Spa many a time, so they'll be used to it by now. Here we go, getting ready for the race start then. We're going to be green very soon. Once the track starts to straighten out slightly, we will be green. And here we go, we are green. Pisano off to a great start there. Sidor's going to have to slot in, but Michael Thomas is still there on the outside. There we go. Single file now coming up towards Rouge, and Pisano continues to lead the race. And look at all the cars going through Rouge there. Some of them looking a bit unstable at the start. That's going to be due to higher fuel loads than they'll be running in qualifying. And looks like Thomas here already being hassled by, I think that's Demori, who's already got past, who now goes defensive here into this hard heavy braking zone. There's been contact between the two leaders on the top two. Sidor and Pisano already making contact there. Pisano rejoins the circuit, but Sidor gains a lead for now. They're still side by side rubbing doors here already, and they are so aggressive at the start already. And you can tell well, you can tell they're racing drivers because they really want the lead of this race. There's been contact there. I think Demori didn't see Pisano side by side with him, but this is really hectic for the start of the race, and looks like we're okay at the start. Pretty much everyone has gone through cleanly apart from the number 77 car, I think, that has... Oh, they may have actually started from the pits. I don't see any damage on the 77 car, but it is Sidor who's pulled away there from the rest of the pack. We've got Demori in P2 now, Michael Thomas in P3, Pitchik up a few positions here. Pitchik started in P7, he's up into P3 already. We've got Ostrek there racing for Ragioli Racing in that lovely yellow and black livery, but it's once again all the Ferraris towards the top end here, and we've got someone wide there. Who's that? It's one of the another one of the Ferraris. Was that Faulkner? Yes, it was. Faulkner running slightly wide there as we head towards Blanchimont. He's got the slipstream of DeMarco just in front. Can he make this move coming up towards the bus stop chicane? Look behind, in fact. We've got Vining followed by Gale, then Orange, who's side by side actually, or almost side by side. We've got Cosimetto down the inside there. Orange having to leave the room. They're still side by side, but it looks like Cosimetto's going to have the inside of turn 1, La Source, and well, the Porsche not really that slow on the straights anymore, so he should be able to keep up, but he's not got the optimal line coming through turn 1. He's going to have to go around the outside, and that's, I believe that's TractionDave looking for a move down the inside. He's in the McLaren this time around. Was in the Porsche last season, but he's had a change of heart here, and that Red Bull Racing livery, actually. And Reali in P15 for Ballis Esports following behind them. It looks like TractionDave has had to cut the top of Radion there. Wasn't confident to make it flat, I think, or maybe had a bit of oversteer. So cut the top to make sure, but he's got the slipstream from the Porsche. He's going to look for a move down the inside. He's going to have to be later on the brakes, though. Is he going to get it done, or is he going to back out? No, he's going to stick his nose down the inside. Is he going to go around the outside here? It's going to be tricky, but a bit of oversteer there for the McLaren, and they're still side by side. They're heading down towards this long sweeping right-hander. Can he still hold on? I'm not sure if he can. He's caught a bit of the grass on the entry, and now with these two battling, the drivers behind have caught up, and wow, Orange has been able to hold on to that position. Now Dave has got a bit of work to do here to hold on to this position. Reali looking for a move down the inside up towards Prawn. Surely he's going to have to back out of that, and yes he does, but Dave leaves him the room. And brilliant racing here between these 4 or 5 drivers. Tobin in the number 345 Aston Martin just behind them, who's got Ticini in another Aston Martin behind them. These 5 drivers continuing to battle, allowing the rest of the field to catch up. Fanara P18, Besselink P19, Curtin P20. He's got Barth and Van Hoorn right behind him. Let's go back to the race leader though, Sidor, with a 1.3 second lead to Demori in P2. Hasn't been able to shake off Demori just yet. That gap's actually come down. It was 1.5 seconds earlier on. So it is coming down slightly. Thomas still in P3, not letting the top 2 out of his sights whatsoever. Pitchik now having to defend from Pisano. Pisano didn't have the best start. Was a bit messy between him and Sidor, but he's just got to get his head down and make as many places back as he can. And I believe he may be running with a bit of damage, but I don't think it's going to be much to hinder his car's performance. But yeah, he needs to work on gaining his positions back, and I don't think he wants to fight too much, as he will be losing time to the lead cars, but he needs to get past Pitchik if he wants to stick with the top 3 here, I think. And remember, we also have the pit stop, so it's not over for Pisano. He could still end up in the top 3 or even win the race. It's very early doors here. We're only 5 minutes into the race, so we're very early doors to judge what's going to happen or to make any predictions, really. Ostrek still in this battle. He's got Langford behind him. Langford started P5. He's lost 2 positions off the start, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And in an hour race, plenty of time to make up more positions, make back those places he may have lost on the start. And look at Pisano really pressuring Pitchik, Pitchik for this position, and he's forced his nose down the inside. He's going to be on the inside coming up towards Prawn. Is he going to be later on the brakes though? I think he's had to back out of that. Yes, he has, and he's got to be careful. If he opens up the door for Ostrek, he's going to possibly lose his position here. He needs to go defensive coming up towards the next corner. And looks like, no, he's not gone defensive. He's opened up the corner for himself once more. But this is now a 4-car battle. Pitchik, Pisano, Ostrek and Langford. They're losing time to the top 3 now. 2 seconds is the gap between Pitchik and Thomas. So the top 3 pulling away while this battle continues to go on. And we'll see if we can get some more battles throughout the field. I mean, there's so much going on at the moment. I have no idea who to look at. But yeah, we'll definitely get some more battles up on the screen. We've got Elshaug into the pits, P33. So he's either had an off, or he's had some damage in the first lap. Pisano and Pitchik side by side here. No, 3 wide coming up towards turn 1. Pisano on the outside. In fact, he's not got an overlap between the 2 cars now, but he's moved over to the racing line, and that was a bit of a risky move there, but looks like Pitchik's going to be able to hold on to P5 from Ostrek, but now coming down towards Eau Rouge. Who's going to have the better run? Let's have a look. Ostrek, yeah, he's not close enough, but it's all about the exit and all about the run down the Kemmel Straight, and oh, he's nearly lost the car, did Ostrek. You can see that rear end really all over the place, and this is going to give Langford a great run coming up towards this right-hander. Oops, they're going to be side by side here, and you can see all the two in front making contact as well. And oh, has there been contact? I don't think so. That seemed, well, it seemed like a bit of a lock-up there from Langford. I don't think there was contact between the two. Look how close these two are getting here, side by side once again. And this is, again, like I said, brought more drivers involved into this battle. So these two still side by side, and Pitchik putting up a great fight, but Langford was able to get past once again. Pitchik now has not been able to catch a break. He's got Ostrek behind him. He looks for a move down towards Puan, but it's such a dangerous place to go for an overtake. And look at this battle. So it's Langford followed by Pitchik, Ostrek in 7th, Faulkner in 8th, then DeMarco in 9th, Vining in 10th, and Gallet in 11th. Got so many drivers in this battle. It's from P5 to P11, all in a battle. I think Langford might be able to pull away now, create himself some breathing room to the drivers behind, and Pisano now in P4 is going to try and catch the top 3, who are actually bunching up together once again. We've got Sidor and Demori, who's now taking the fastest lap of the race at 2:17.6. Has really reeled in Sidor here, and if these two continue to battle, Thomas is going to have a good chance to get right up to them and challenge for the lead. But you can see in the background, Pisano not far off, and this battle in the back, these drivers in the back not far off either. So if the top 3 continue to battle, get closer, and really fight hard for that race lead, I mean, the drivers behind, the pack behind, are going to close in. So it's a risky play here, and it's definitely not over yet. We've got so many drivers still involved for a top 10 or even this race lead. You can see on the timing board that there's pretty much nothing separating these drivers, even from P1 down to P11. There's not much. It's only 5-6 seconds separating them, and looks like Faulkner going for a move here. He's got the inside line, but the outside line seems to be better at the moment. Oh, lock up there once again. There seems to be quite a few drivers locking up there and getting the rear end out. And we saw the same for DeMarco just a second ago. But it seems to be quite easy for the drivers to catch the rear end, and looks like that is Vining down the inside of Gallet. So he's going to try for this move, but going through No Name. Has the Porsche still got his nose down the inside? No, he backs out of that, and Vining back up into P10. Vining started P9, so he's lost the position off the start, but doesn't really matter. There's still plenty of time left in this race to go, and Thomas now closing into the top 2, so this is a battle to watch out for. Let's go on board with Thomas here. Got a lovely view of the battle just up ahead, and we'll bring up the battle going on here for, well, this battle for P8 we'll bring up as well. Thomas is definitely closing in, reeling them in as they continue to battle. And Pisano also catching up. He's only 2.5 seconds now behind Thomas. So he's definitely catching up. Coming up towards turn 1. Look at the amount of time he's gained now. Pisano has got the fastest lap of the race, a 2:17.2, and unfortunately, I think Redken has retired from the race. It's a shame to see, but it's still early on into the championship. We have a drop round as well, so let's hope he can redeem himself for next round. Obviously, a lot of the drivers having to relearn ACC, new physics, new everything really, and it's not easy by any means. But it's all a learning curve, and these championships, well, raise the stakes and raise the driving ability as well. You can learn so much from driving with the quicker guys and being pushed to absolute limit can really teach you a lot. And it looks like Demori making a few mistakes now. He's possibly looking in the rearview mirror here, seeing that Thomas is closing the gap, and he's not far whatsoever. It's a shame to hear. A shame to hear, Jamie. Thomas closing that gap now. We'll keep an eye on this battle. Let's see what else is going out or going on with the rest of the field. So looks like we've got a battle going on for P13 as well. Well, still this battle going on actually. That is now Orange and really in P12 and P13. It's probably Reali maybe? I'm just going to say really for now. You can correct me if I'm wrong for whoever's watching. But yeah, Orange still within that second gap to... actually, Reali sounds better. Or more natural. Saying really is a bit odd. I don't know. But... yeah, let's just say Reali. It makes things better. But yeah, looks like this battle's still going on. We've got another battle for P20 here. Looks like Curtin and Van Hoorn teammates here going side by side, coming up towards Eau Rouge. Someone's going to have to back out. Yes, Curtin backs out of that move. And now slots into, tucks into the slipstream here, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Coming down the Kemmel Straight, he's too far back. He had to back out going into Eau Rouge, so wouldn't have the exit speed he needed. So it's not going to be enough for him, and looks like, oh, yellow flags have we got? Yes, we've got yellow flags for someone. That's Rogers. Oh, Rogers returning to the pits. I think he lost it for Eau Rouge there, did Rogers. And he would have got some serious damage after that one, which is a shame. But P33, we've got Elshaug currently lapping around on his own. Nothing much going on there. Curtin in P20 still keeping that gap to Van Hoorn. Actually losing a bit of time now. Van Hoorn starting to pull away. Besselink in P17 has got Cosmetto now hunting him down here. Cosmetto, that last lap, a 219.7. Besselink was a 219.5, but Besselink, I don't think he's put in a valid lap yet. His best lap is showing as a 252. So maybe he's invalidated every lap here. I'm not too sure. In the bottom right, we can see Thomas there. We've got his splitter cam, actually. Let's hope that's not affecting his aero. His splitter cam was chasing down the top two. These three have been really close. And in fact, where is Pisano now? Still 2 seconds off. So he actually hasn't been able to reel in the top three as much as I thought. That last lap at 2:17.6, whereas the top three doing 2:17.6s as well, so we're not really gaining any time on the top two. Sador, though, that last time around a 2:18.1, so he's actually losing time to the two behind him. Now looking at P8 and P9, wow, he's still got this train going on. Faulkner followed by DeMarco. Looks like Faulkner has lost a bit of time to Ostrek and Pitchik in front. Pitchik somehow still sitting in P6. He had been pressured by Ostrek earlier on a few laps ago, but yeah, he's been able to hold on to this position, and he's now pulled a slight gap to Ostrek, so he's giving himself some breathing room, maybe a bit of time to relax. Wouldn't exactly say relax, because he's got to concentrate, especially on a circuit like Spa, but relax in the sense that he doesn't have to defend. He can focus on his lines now and try and catch up to Langford in front, who's actually been doing very similar lap times to Pitchik. Both been doing 2:18 flats, at least in their last lap. Let's see further down the field then what is going on. Stuart Pyre currently running P21. We've got a few battles going on further down the field. Brown here currently in P28. Oh, he's got some serious damage on the front of that Aston. Looks like Raggy just in front as well. Emmanuel Raggy doesn't have any damage on his car. I don't think, but he's being hunted down here by Brown here, even with all that damage he's been carrying. Now these two, it's Ferrari versus Aston Martin at the moment, and I believe that is Meshegovsky just in front. Yes, it is in the BMW, so this could be a three-car battle here for P26, and just in front of them is McGovern in P25, or McGowan even. I don't think that's pronounced as a V. But yeah, no, P25, he's second and a half in front. And Meshegovsky did race with us last season, so good to see him back. Brownhill as well raced with us in the previous season. And looks like I've just seen Michael Thomas is up into P2. Demori is down into P4, so he's made a mistake somewhere. I wasn't actually paying attention to that. That's promoted Pisano and Michael Thomas up a position, and Demori down into P4, so he's definitely made a mistake somewhere. In fact, that last lap, a 2:20.7 from Demori. So something has happened to him, but on the bright side, he hasn't lost too much time. He's still within a second to the two in front of him, but this has let Sidor well, a huge lead, almost 3 seconds to Thomas behind. So that's given Sidor a bit of a buffer. Now we go down to P10. Vining challenging for position here, challenging P9 actually. DeMarco. We've got another. Well, this train forming once again. Let's go on board with Sebastian Gallet, who. He's got a great view of this battle. It looks like that's one of the back markers. I think that is Elshaug, who has just let the leaders through, which is great to see. Oh, Cody, what's happened? Wrestling, what's happened to him? Down in P31 now. He's served his pit stop though. So the first one to make it into the pits, but I assume he's lost the car somewhere. Which is a bit of a shame. But his first season on PC, he's definitely got a lot to learn. And his first race as well, so I'm sure he will be up there in no time. But new physics and transferring from console to PC is not easy by any means. It looks like Cosmetto with a good exit there on the inside coming up towards the bus stop. Surely Ticini's going to have to back out, and yes he does, but he's going to focus on the exit. No, he's going to pit. So a wise decision there from Ticini. He doesn't want to be caught up in this battle, especially with Curtin and Van Hoorn closing in quickly. In fact, they're already on the back of Cosmetto here. So this is another three-car battle going on, P16, 17 and 18 now. And these two teammates, Curtin and Van Hoorn, very similar in pace. They haven't been able to break away from each other. Barth in the pits as well. Brownhill now into the pits too. We go back to P9 for this amazing battle. We've got DeMarco and Faulkner once again side by side. Faulkner has the inside line. DeMarco is not alongside enough to make a move around the outside there. And looks like Vining still in the mix, in the thick of it all in this battle. Gallet on the back of them, and Reali now catching up in P12. Really 2 seconds behind, so he's definitely catching up. Now we've still got this battle going on for P16, the Cosmetto, Van Hoorn and Curtin, which we'll bring up just now. in the bottom right hand of your screen. In fact, let's get an onboard with... Oops. Yeah, that one's best. We're getting on board with Curtin, who's really challenging for this position. If I were him, I'd pit early. He's got a great exit on Van Hoorn, though. He's going to look for a move down the inside. No, just playing the waiting game here, being patient. Doesn't want to make any risks early on in this race. So, Jamie, what actually happened to you if you're still watching? Would definitely like to know what happened. But it looks like none of these drivers going to pit actually, and Reality is caught right up now. So this is a brilliant battle now for P8 all the way down to P12. And it looks like that's DeMarco down the inside of turn 1, the source, and looks like Faulkner's trying to go for the switchback, but no! He's been caught up there, a bit of a domino effect, concertina effect going on there, and I think that's a bit of a racing incident in my opinion. Faulkner tried to go for the switchback, bumped the rear end of DeMarco, and Vining not really anywhere to go, not really much time to react to that, but that's dropped Faulkner down a few positions here. He's received a bit of damage as well, really sideways going through Rabion there, and that could have ended his race in just a blink of an eye, but luckily he saved it. I mean, what a save from Faulkner, but he's now defending from Fanara. Fanara, can he do it around the outside? No, he's not going to be able to do it there, but that damage doesn't look like it's going to be serving him well, and well, his tyres are going to be quite hot now too, so he's going to have to take it easy for a few laps to cool those tyres down. And yeah, it's not what Faulkner would have wanted whatsoever. That's a shame, real shame, Jamie. But these things happen, unfortunately. It's part and parcel of racing. Best thing to do is to report it, though. And then stewards can, of course, have a look at it afterwards. But there's a drop round this championship, so I'm sure you'll be okay going into the second round. Spa is definitely one of the most difficult ones. We've seen many accidents happen in real-life Spa as well. It's extremely tricky. But Vining on the back of Gallet. In fact, after that incident through La Source, Vining has lost the position to Gallet. The top three separated now slightly. In fact, Sidor had quite a gap. It was about 3 seconds. Thomas is now closing that gap down to Sidor. The last lap from Sidor was a 2:18.4. From Thomas is a 2:17.9, and for Pisano is a 2:18.2. So Thomas lapping quicker than both of them at the moment, but still the fastest lap is with Pisano 2:17.2, and I'm not sure if that will be beaten until the drivers get a fresh set of rubber. Really, they're going to be on worn tyres now, especially with the amount of battering that's been going on. I think they'll be wearing the tyres down a bit more than usual, and all finding they're having to cut the top of Radion. You can see that the understeer going through Rouge, maybe turning a bit too late there, but the gap between the top two and even Pisano is now closing back in. Let's switch to P5 quickly. Langford now closing in on Demori. And who's that in front? I think that is that Pisano just in front. Yeah, it is Pisano just in front. So even Demori and Langford aren't far behind whatsoever. This could definitely become another 5-car battle once again for the race lead. But we have the pit stops to go. The pit window is open for another 13 minutes. And Pisano carrying a bit of damage here, so we'll see if he repairs it in the pit stops. He looks to be driving perfectly fine at the moment, but that 2:18.2 last lap does suggest otherwise. So he may start to, he may think about repairing that damage in the pits. And if he does, he's probably going to lose time to the top two. But in the long run, is it going to be worth it? I mean, that's for him to decide and for us to speculate. Langford right on the back of Demori now. He's he can taste that Ferrari. He's going to have this Ferrari for dinner here. Coming up towards Blanchimont now. He's got the slipstream. All he needs is to send it up the inside here. Look at the run he's got. He's found the inside line, and he's got enough overlap with the Ferrari late on the brakes there, but he's made the corner perfectly and defended that inside line. In fact, oh, interesting. That was quite close, but he's decided to pit, almost hitting that that wall on the exit of the pit. Sorry, on the outside of the pits is what I meant to say. But we've got quite a few drivers pitting now. Sidor, Pisano, Langford, Pitchik, Ostrek, all in the pits, and Riali. That promotes Thomas into the provisional race lead. Demori into P2. But Thomas in a bit of clean air now. So this is his chance to really try and put in some great lap times here. And I assume he's going to pit late to try and maximize the strategy. It depends how much fuel he's got in, of course, because the drivers, I assume they'd be putting about half the tank in, about 60 liters or so, or maybe a bit more, depending on their strategy. If they've put more in, they can run a longer first stint, but they've put less in, they may have to pit at say the halfway mark, which are almost at, in fact. But yeah, it's we'll just have to wait and see here what the drivers do in terms of strategy. And now we've got a lot of drivers pitting this lap, so lots of drivers may be running similar fuel loads. Tashini unfortunately has had to retire from the race. He's had issues with his force feedback, which is a shame. And we've got a car in the wall there. Who is that? That's McGowan, who I think has also retired from the race. You can see him there. That looked like a big collision, but he was completely in the wall. And what's happened here? We've got Fenara on the back of Curtin. The two Aston Martin drivers battling for position now, still yet to serve their pit stop. So the top 13 haven't pitted. I believe everyone else has. Langford out of the pits, Pitchuk now out of the pits as well. Fenara on the back of Curtin still. Now, oh, Thomas pitting quite early. Well, not early, later than the others, but at the halfway mark. I thought he would have gone longer, but I don't think his fuel is going to allow for that. But when he exits the pits, he's going to be on fresher tyres than Sidor Pisano. And in fact, Pisano has had a great pit stop. He's ahead of Sidor now, so he's P14, Sidor P15. Sidor must have had a pretty terrible pit stop there. We can actually bring up the pit stop times for Nara into the pits, but we'll bring that up in just a moment. Where is Pisano on track? Let's try and find him. So they're coming up to, yeah, still a long way to go here. We're in the, well, still one more sector to go. I believe, where is Thomas? He's still probably rolling into his box. Yep, not into his box just yet. It's a very, very long pit lane here at Spa, so none of the drivers really want to be picking up any drive-through penalties or anything like that. They're going to lose heaps of time. Let's go back to Pisano. He's still carrying that damage, actually, so he hasn't repaired any of that damage in the pits. And Cody saying as Porsche continues to spin. It's a bit of a shame, but where is Thomas now? Has he been unleashed from the pits? He's been dropped off the jacks. He's off the well, he's off the limiter now, and in fact, I think he may have got ahead of the rest. Where's Pisano? Coming through Radion now. It's going to be extremely close. Thomas is not going to have as much speed down the Kemmel straight. He's still going to be going up gears. And look at the closing speed here from Pisano. It's absolutely massive. And I think he's going to try it around the outside. Bit of contact between the two. And I think that was just hard racing between the two, and Thomas now into, I believe, the net race lead once the others, of course, pit. And we've got a back marker in the way now as well, but he's moved